Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Utopia News Warcast. This is your host Wind, and today we are looking at all the wars in progress. The date is March 9th, year 4. Had to make that little change there because it did take me some time to get started tonight. So thank you to everyone who watches the show, and I apologize, but life has just been a little bit too crazy recently, so I haven't been able to keep up with everything. But without further ado, let's jump into this Warcast. There's our beautiful splash screen. Again, thank you so much to Lady Augustina for making all these beautiful banners for the news and for everything else. We're looking at Age 94, World of Legends. This is the Age of Ascent. Let's dive into the game now. Oh, it appears we lost our window capture here because I restarted it. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, as you may have noticed, I did post a link to GIMS' new awesome bot. Rather, not his awesome bot, actually, his awesome new skin layout for Utopia. That is the Utopia theme. As you can see, it's nice and blue. There's little buttons here to turn off the IRC window, turn on and off the bot. Just looks better all around. Hopefully something we can incorporate later into the future is more customization when it comes to this. But that's all things for the future. Anyway, in case anyone hasn't noticed, you can click on the Intel bot link at the top, and it takes you to these amazing little pages here within the game that teaches you not only how to set up the Intel bot. I actually need to check to see if this is actually up to date or not, but very little work is needed to be done to actually do this. And this gives you some basic commands and things like that, so you can use the bot. And of course, you can go and learn some other commands if you want. There's some list of commands. This is for new players joining the game. Again, be sure to check out the Utopia forums. It's a great place. There's lots of information, lots of players post there still. Believe it or not, stuff actually does happen in the forums. Good, good. Just want to make sure I'm not muted there. One other thing you guys can check out, if you go to Utopia and you actually click on the guide up here, it will take you to the Utopia guide, which actually has been redone recently and looks pretty nice, actually. Got to congratulate, I think Tom was headlining this one. Good job, Tom. Looks pretty good. I mean, I have to say, I definitely like it a lot more than the old guide. It has a little bit more flair to it. We'll see how it looks on. Oh, that's kind of a cool button. We'll see how it looks on mobile devices. Um, but otherwise, I mean, it looks pretty cool. I mean, this little thing kind of scrolls down while you're going down there. Um, Even if the menu tabs kind of stay there, it doesn't really matter. It still looks pretty sweet. I'd say that's probably the only thing is that, these menu tabs kind of stay here and block the thing. So, Tom, if you got anything to work on, there you go. Just found something for you. All right, and again, remember to check out the Utopia store. That's not just for Utopia, that's for generals as well. So that's a MUGA gaming store, actually, where they got all these awesome branded things for sale. Um, I actually plan on probably spending about, I don't know, something on this store eventually. I just got to find something that I like and that I'm when ready to commit to order. But I'm definitely going to get something from the store, and everyone else should too, because why not support the game that you like? Again, thanks to KAGGES Tools, Utopia Tools for Kingdom News Parser and Province News Parser. Of course, the Elite Calculator is also a nice little piece of work that you can take advantage of. That'll basically help you train your elites essentially. So thank you so much, Kage, for all that. And thanks again to everyone who responded to the World of Legends survey about shaping the history of the world. It seems to me that most people prefer the race personality. Sorry, not most people, but rather more people prefer the race personality versus the race. But be sure to keep an eye out for more surveys coming up in the future. There definitely will be one. I was hoping to have aired it on this show tonight, but will be another show for sure, so we can get that new survey out there. The questions are being drafted up. It is more than just one question, so get ready to answer some more survey questions and how you want to shape the world of Legends and Utopia as you know it. All right, so enough of that advertising and all that. We're going to move into the wars currently at hand right now and wars that have been completed recently. I do have some data on one war in particular, which stands out more so than some of the others, and definitely worth mentioning. So we will look at that as soon as we get to it, and it's coming up because it is just this little notepad icon. which you cannot see actually because I blocked that part of the screen, but it's there and it is very close by. So let's check out the wars currently in progress. Awesome. There's actually a good number of wars currently in progress, so that's always nice to see. Um, that's awesome stuff. Sweet, sweet. All right. Let's just take a look and make sure there's no emergency messages that I'm getting here about the stream not working or anything like that. It seems like we're pretty much good to go. All right. So that being the case, and looks like we are recording still, so we're good. All right. Let's take a look at these wars. Nothing really, name wise, nothing really stands out. This looks like it was a pretty long war. These few at the top here, 10-day war. I wonder how much of that was actually war. We're definitely going to look into that. Anyone else that we recognize here? Ghetto Nightmare, Syndicate, Themeless, always in war. Seems like Themeless, people can bash Themeless all they want, but those guys are always in war. They're always having a good time. The Diablo Kingdom, Cryptid's Holidays, Ghetto Paradise, not sure who that is. The Forest, Empyreans, again, another kingdom that just likes to war. They get it done for sure. Wow. Warcry, Noi forever. Interesting. I wonder if Warcry is eventually going to come back, the kingdom up, but time will tell. Let's take a quick look at the top 10 kingdoms. It looks like Shadow Rising has really taken a spike here in terms of largest kingdom in the world. I mean, they're definitely growing up there. What they're up to, who knows? Maybe that's the Noob Kingdom again. Um, but Milkman is just right behind them. Um, 7-7. These are all just random names. Syndicate, Bad Xmas Prezzies, Santa Claus is coming to town, nostalgic around a lot of Christmas stuff, some names that don't make any sense. Uh, like War with 7-9. Come on, guys. We know you're at war, or we're at war, or whatever. Just throw up a tag, name something, anything. Give us something to go with. I mean, otherwise, everyone's pretty close together here between the 40, or, 35 and 50 mark here. I mean, they're all in pretty close range. Definitely looks like there's going to be some competition at the top here. Let's see how long Shadow Rising can hold this position at the top. For all we know, this could be Emeretti. I mean, who else likes to grow, or that pack of noobs from last age? But who really knows? All right, let's look at the honor side of things. Again, everyone's in nice tight quarters. Syndicate seems to be taking the lead just behind, just ahead of Bad Xmas Prezzies in terms of honor. What the honor side of things kind of tends to tell me is, the amount of ops tendered by that kingdom is generally much higher. Possibly this chart could indicate that these kingdoms have higher with regards to some of the other kingdoms in the world. Something to consider. All right, let's look at the first war. Now, this is that 10-day war that looks like it just completed not too long ago. Probably about a day and a half ago, I would say, just by judging by the looks of it. Now, on the land side, so this is the net worth side of things. I mean, it's interesting to see the smaller kingdom, pump up to a kingdom that has been waiting and, take a nice little drop here, but actually be smaller, enter the war, be smaller, and immediately converge opponents, so much so that they can't even converge back on the net worth side. I mean, this for blue, this was seemingly a losing war going in, and we have a lot more data to show how bad it was for them, actually. Um, yeah, I mean, all in all, if you look at the kingdoms, it doesn't like no one was really deeply chained. No one really took any serious destructive hits. It looks like there's two provinces possibly even in protection here or something because they have absolutely no data at all. Usually that's what that means. But there's also another one here as well. So I'm not too sure. Maybe this guy went into a vacation mode or something. We'd have to check out to see why there's no data for him in the war. Either way, that province is not really there. But I mean, look at the damage done here. Like this is just insane, wave over wave. Throughout the war, such a long war too. I mean, this is pretty clear to me anyway that maybe this war had been done not too long after Min time. I mean, let's take a look at the honor side of things and actually see what this kind of looks like here. Well, I mean, what this kind of tells me is that Chicken Bones was definitely had some measure of control here, although something happened here closer to the end of the war where they started to lose their footing, although they're doing a great job maintaining that balance. So definitely some extreme skill on their side, especially for leaving the war, with more honor on that one. So definitely good luck to, yeah, like good work to them on that, which leads me to believe these are higher level players, higher level kingdom, and I'll share more with you on why I think that later. But again, look at the acres wise. I mean, they pretty much did better than break even. Like they gained enough acres and actually grew at the end as well. That is the team that withdrew from the war. Land and honor wise, they're actually doing pretty well. I mean, they're on par with the rest of the server and the world, so they're perfectly positioned for another war. Again, leading me to believe that these are higher end kingdoms, especially the Blue Kingdom here, despite having such a bad, appearingly seemingly bad loss, they still took away on the honor side of things. Um, and there's a few individuals in uh, the MUGA server that constantly talk about honor being important, or stacking honor, or leaving the war with honor and land, and not necessarily being the victor. It's an all too common thing to see nowadays, especially in some of the upper kingdoms. Now, let's look at some of the data on this war. That's right, we got data, boys, girls. All right, before the war, they did a learn wave, so that could possibly explain the amount of damage and some of the land that they lost initially going into the war, during the hostile. So um, now the war starts, and we're on pretty even terms net worth wise. This is from the perspective of the kingdom who won. So it looks like the enemy almost had 1 million net worth TPA, WPA, and science. Peon advantage. They were down 100k units, but they're probably hoping to make up for that. I can only imagine there must have been some serious ops and spells going back and forth in this war. Um, Income wise, they were down. Troops, they were down. Wages were higher, probably because they were sitting on a lot more elites. Um, Gold on hand was lower. They did have more runes though to compensate for that TPA and WPA power. They could have done more possibly with that, although runes are easily stolen or destroyed, so you can't put too much stock on that. Now I believe there's something around like over 2,000 attacks in this war. Most of them are captured here. But as you can see, the team who was victorious, took actually less acres um, than, or sorry, took actually less acres than what they suffered. 419 uniques on the one side. One thing I want to draw your attention to on the screen here is the massacres. 294 massacres, almost 300,000 population. Now, just that alone decimates that TPA, WPA number, and forget about those peons. That's all completely, you know, just wrecked there. I mean, there's definitely more damage, I'm sure, from props and things like that, or assassinate wizards. Like we don't actually know what kind of spells and ops were going back and forth 100% in this war, except for the participants in the battle. Now again, high level kingdoms. I mean, as opposed to very few massacres on the enemy side, probably thought they could just make do despite that. But number of uniques is interestingly high on the enemy. So near victory before the bonus. Here's the stats again. I remember this is from the winning side, so we is the winning side and they is the blue kingdom. Again, both high level kingdoms. This, look at those numbers. I mean, 3 million net worth. They did a ton of net worth damage here. This is scary. I mean, I would be very upset. Well, now hold up a second. Whoop. What was this number before? Oh my God. They got pwned so bad in the Wizard and TPA and Science Department in terms of their net worth there. Ouch, that has got to hurt. I mean, the rest of their age is going to be um, pretty painful, I would say, unless they have a good way to pump that back up. But still, everyone else is a little bit ahead of them. They got a lot of work to do. That time and effort just takes away from some other pumping that you could be doing. I'm not going to tell you guys how to play the game. You guys know what to do. So they had two provinces in protection. So technically it was 23 versus 25. So not only did they royally beat these guys down and wreck their WPA and TPA numbers, but they also had two provinces in protection. I mean, that's huge. 20K peons. And look at the peon lead that they had. It was almost negligible. And then with those 20K missing two in protection, they're no longer leading in peasants. Sorry, they weren't even leading in peasants in the beginning, and they're losing 20K peasants off the top. That's crazy. I mean, of course, it's all in troops, but I mean, let's be honest. I'd rather have the troops than more peons. That's a little bit more important. But I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you can attack your enemy and they can't stop you, what difference does it make? Now, they sent four dragons, one emerald, two sapphire, and a topaz. Nice mix, actually. They only sent one or two. And something led this kingdom to believe that this is, in fact, warbirds and that this loss actually ends Smile's 40 war win streak. That's something they wanted me to highlight because they're so sure that this kingdom is warbirds and or that Smiles is leading the kingdom. So whatever that may be, I mean, this was definitely a crushing defeat. I mean, just looking at the numbers alone, this tells you the story that you want to see. I mean, there was just no chance for them here. Like, there was no pullback. This vector just kept getting bigger and bigger. I don't even really need to draw it. It's visible. I mean, there was no convergences here on net worth. Again, great job to the Blue Kingdom for being able to take back as much land as possible. Again, that's why I'm fairly certain that maybe this is Warbirds. And again, on the honor side of things, maintaining the honor lead, but still taking a beating and still managing to stay on top. Hate to say it, guys, but that's top level kingdom play, and I wouldn't be shocked if these guys are in fact Warbirds. So enough of pointing fingers and saying who might be who and this and that. Great job to both sides. I mean, this is an excellent monumental effort from both. We all know if it was Warbirds, they don't like to give up easy, so it's kind of maybe why this war lasted a bit longer than it should have. But all in all, you know, because they made the war last longer, they were actually able to pull back a lot of this honor and even go in, like, leave with more honor than they started with. And again, same thing with the land. Um, it seems like they were just looking for a good point here. I mean, maybe there's a couple points up here where they could have done it, but they would have been down on the honor side, and they would have given more honor away. So definitely a very strategic withdrawal, which again, all signs point to one thing. All right, guys, great job on that war. Thank you so much for all your contributions and everything to the Utopia world, and I hope you guys go to war again. Um, I would have been interested to see what a 25 versus 25 full active would have looked like if, the 23 were able to lay such a spanking down. Um, Definitely watch out for that Red Kingdom. All right, let's move on to the next war. We got Run 7-7 as far as you can and versus the Shadow Rising. This war, I believe, is already over, possibly. Um, hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. This is some interesting data that we're seeing here. These are full kingdoms. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like they are finished their war, but something's wrong with the data here. I'm not sure exactly what happened. That just looks wrong. Let's try and refresh that. Maybe the thing is actually broken or something. But let's just refresh that and see what happens. In the meantime, wow, there must be something wrong with the Intel site. Let's just check out the next war. All right. So while that thing is doing whatever it's doing and trying to load up that war, we might have to come back to it later. Let's look at Insomnia cause Santa is here versus Santa Claus is coming to town. This one, it looks like another, nice tight war. This is just the land side of things. I mean, Red definitely appears to be in control of this, pretty much from the get-go, here in the middle. But definitely a strong victory at the end here in terms of the land side of things. Looks like that page is just reloaded, so we'll take a look and see what's going on there. Um, I know that Utopia was having some problems earlier today, but well, they're kind of the larger than smaller. They kind of did a little bit of back and forth here as they're pumping up to meet up for this war. But Blue ended up being the bigger kingdom going into the war, but Red did a nice job bringing them down every time here. These are some quite significant dips converging on almost every wave until they take control and walk away with a nice, sweet victory. Lots of land and lots of honor off that one. So great job Red Kingdom. This is a nice, well-fought war. Definitely two kingdoms to keep an eye on. Um, this type of back and forth, nice movement is something you generally, would only see from the bigger kingdoms. But it's interesting to see how they swap land and honor, and how the net worth damage is done. I mean, this kind of, this honor movement kind of leads me to believe maybe that, um, the Blue Kingdom was maybe lacking a bit of TM power. So let's just take a quick look here. Santa Claus versus Insomnia. Interesting. Okay, so Insomnia is the blue. TPA power missing there, although on the other hand, Dark Elf, Elf, Fairy, Gnome, Halfling. I mean, those Halflings could have made a huge difference if they were running rogues and doing props and stuff like that. It doesn't look like, uh, maybe they'd put too much stock in a magical, like a magic defense or magic wall, as opposed to, Red Kingdom having more of like a thief and magic combination in terms of, what they were aiming to do here. Um, but again, Red did a great job here, walking away with lots of honor and land. So good job, guys. Let's move on to the next war. Actually, so we're going to go back to this war because it looks like it's finally loaded. Oh, this war has actually just started. That's why we don't have any data on it. So there was, I guess, the thing actually glitched, or one of these kingdoms was in a war before, because when I looked at the chart, they were actually at the top here, 8 days. So these guys must have just finished a war. One of them must have just finished a war, because sometimes it tends to glitch out like that. So we probably just missed the tail end of their last war, which is why we're seeing it there now. So I'm just going to remove that out of there. We'll look at your guys' war later. As I said, there will be some more casts coming up in the future. So we're going to look at the core versus recruiting message us. Geez, the Intel site and the game is rather slow today, overall. Let's take a look here. Recruiting, message us, the core. Nothing special here to see on the land side of things. Core just doing a typical ponage like they always do. Same thing with net worth. And same thing on honor side. Core did a nice job of controlling the game, one province down. Amazing work, Core. I mean, what else is there to say? You definitely lost a lot of acres in this in this battle. Oh, sorry. Oh, I had you guys mixed up. Good job recruiting. Message us. You kicked Core's butt. Looking at the land side, you kicked their butt. Looking at the net worth side, you kicked their butt. Um, they're definitely, they definitely should have lost this war. I mean, being one province down, and again, you have, full complement of attackers and players that are willing to, make sure that the job gets done. Although looking at the race breakdown, there's a lot of avians on here versus, it looks like mostly an orc elf core. So probably what happened here is the avians just outmarched the elves and the orcs. And if these avians are orcs, like avian orcs or avian undead, I mean, this war was pretty much sealed for the core right from the get-go. I mean, even on the honor side, um, as soon as it loads, the core didn't really have a chance. I mean, they were just constantly being beaten down. So good job to the Blue Kingdom. And sorry for mixing you guys up. All right, let's look at the next war. Attic versus Oceany stuff. Please stay out. Or PSO. Okay, two provinces short on Attic. Let's see what's going on here. Again, this war is completed. Oceany stuff is the winner. Just gave it away. I mean, they didn't really have a chance here. They broke even on their land. They were two provinces short. I mean, they didn't really have a chance going into this war. Just at the end of the day, as long as all your resources are being used, then there's no reason that a smaller kingdom with less players, some serious skill behind that. But again, it looks like we're having some problems here with the. Oh, it's because the game just ticked. Oh no, it didn't. Damn, I'm going blind tonight. I don't know what the heck is wrong with me, guys. Let's see what's going on here. Maybe we just need to refresh the page. Seem to be having to do this more than ever before. So I'm not sure what's actually going on with the game right now, but this is a terrible time for the Intel site not to be working. There we go. Um, See if we can get the net worth data. Ooh, that I don't like. Come on. Okay. Yeah, you all saw that. That was some freaky shit. All right. Just give me the network data thing. You know what? This war is not gonna, it's not gonna show it to me apparently. Whoa. Are you guys seeing this stuff? It's like someone's controlling my computer or something. Damn, the game's possessed. Am I just not waiting long enough? All right, here's the Kingdom net worth. Yeah, I mean, Oceany stuff just destroyed Attic. I mean, again, two provinces short. They didn't really have a chance honor-wise. Oceany stuff basically just farmed out Attic. There's nothing really else to say there. Yeah, and they're two provinces short. What do you expect? All right, let's move on to the next war before the thing stops working. All right, recruiting PM versus nostalgic around Christmas. Looks like there's a lot of kingdoms going to war with short provinces. That is one or two provinces short. I mean, it's not unheard of. It's just interesting to see so many. But it's also cool to see some like kingdoms winning and being short on provinces. That's definitely pretty cool, especially when it's a nice close battle. Looks like Nostalgic for Christmas took this one. Recruiting was unable to break even on the land side there. There was a nice convergence here that Red made as you know Blue Kingdom grew to meet them. This is the only convergence in the war. Definitely what looks like an easy victory for the Red Kingdom. Definitely must have been with honor and land charts the way that they were showing. So great job, guys. You did well. Let's move on to the next war. Merry Marauders. What up, Merry Marauders? You got one of the coolest banners, and you tagged right away. Mad respect. All right, but you're facing against a kingdom that has two less provinces. So I'm going to guess that you're winning. Let's see if my guess is correct. Oh man, come on, guys. Why you gotta let me down like this? You guys lost to a kingdom with two less players. Oh, what are we gonna do with you guys? All right. I mean, it looks like it was a pretty close battle, but definitely on them, Red Kingdom had something up their sleeve, and they really kicked your guys' butt. Let's see if we can figure out what happened here. Probably some deep chains, several deep chains, just kind of moving them out of net worth range. It looks like. Yeah, that's all that it was. They just kind of moved them away from net worth range and maintained the top end. One province at a time. That's all it takes is a little bit more coordination. So there you go, guys. That's the secret. Great job, Red Kingdom. Merry Marauders. Better luck next time. But you did lose a chunk here. You walked away with a little bit, so props to leaving the war with more honor than you walked in with. Um, but Red Kingdom made away like bandits with the honor here. They got a nice little chunk, and more, same with the land side of things too. Good job on that one, Red Kingdom. You really took it away. And again, Merry Marauders, you didn't manage to break even with when you entered the war. So, again, better luck next time. Let's move on to the next war, the Spice Rack War versus Syndicate. Nice. That's what I like to see. Nice even kingdoms. Let's see what we got here. Nice work, Syndicate. Nice victory. Looks like Spice Rack gave you a nice war to fight for. But looking at the damage here, they did over double the damage and walked away with a lot of honor out of this one. So well played, Syndicate. Definitely a kingdom to watch out for. You know, we'll definitely see them in the top 10 for sure. At the end of the age, that is. Great job, Syndicate. You crushed it. You literally crushed it. You couldn't have played this one any better. And great job, Spice Rack. I believe we may have already awarded this age. Name sounds familiar. Can't remember when it was though. But great job, guys. Great job. And especially good job to Syndicate. You really walked away with a good amount of honor here. And you walked away with a good amount of land here as well too. So excellently done, and we'll see you at the top, guys. Good job, Spice Rack. You hung in there. That's kind of funny. You don't want the spices to fall. Justify your combo at war versus what the beep? Hostile PSO. I wonder if Beep plays in that kingdom. Beep, do you play in that kingdom? Message me later. All right, let's see what we got here. What the beep won this war. Great job. Good job. Must be Beep playing. Let's take a look at the net worth side of things. That's a nice little convergence there, and it lasted, quite some time. They were stuck in a convergence almost. But Blue Kingdom coming in the smaller kingdom net worth wise and just beating Red down until they were in total control of this war. Looking down at the thing here, Red Kingdom is one province short. So it's kind of to be expected again when you're a little bit less organized. And you can see that here in the honor. Blue Kingdom came in as the smaller kingdom, honor-wise anyway, and they walked away with a nice chunk of honor, whereas got wrecked. And on the land side of things, as well, they more or less got wrecked. They didn't break even. I mean, I wouldn't say they actually, they got wrecked. They really didn't lose that much here. They only lost maybe like 2,500 acres overall from when they entered the war. So I mean, they still ended up in a good spot, probably better for their skill level anyway. So let's move on to the next war. Oh, this is going to be interesting. We got 5 provinces short on one side and a province named Pacifier on one side. I mean, that's pretty funny in itself. Look at those nice U-shaped convergences we're seeing here. That's some good stuff. That is some good convergence right there. All right, let's look at the net worth side of things. Wow, I mean, looking at this, I'd say, meatheads is like beaches or something. How to come out of a war or go through a war like this with so many players down and still doing so well. But, Wacko's probably going to kill me later saying um, that how could I think that this was their kingdom? But because usually they win wars, so I mean that's the one thing that kind of doesn't make me think that maybe this, meatheads isn't actually beaches. But maybe war is beaches, and that's why they won. Anyway, I'm sure Wacko will tell me later, one way or the other. But as it stands, beaches is usually known to be a smaller kingdom, not a full 25, going up into wars where they're significantly, seemingly outgunned or outprovinced, but they still walk away with a victory. Although war, the Red Kingdom managed to do a nice job here, wave over wave, taking just a little bit of honor, a little bit of honor every time, and just growing that step ladder there. Only recently taking the victory. On the land side of things, they walked away with a bunch. Again, some of these kingdoms they're not doing too bad. They're more or less able to pull back from their losses. And basically they are where the war started, and that's kind of how it should be. I mean, you don't want to keep going back to back with the same kingdoms over and over again. So that little buff or boost is kind of necessary just so you move your kingdom up to a different bracket. Um, Great job, guys. Let's move on to the next war, Themeless and Ghetto Nightmare. This is a war we have seen many times. An interesting Ghetto Nightmare short 3 players. Let's see if Themeless can actually pull it off. But just based on the numbers here, it doesn't look like they are going to be able to. It looks like Ghetto Nightmare is still kicking butt, being short provinces. This is like some kind of beaches activity here. This is what we'd see from beaches. Provinces down, kicking butt. This is this kind of action here. Obviously, it's not though. It's Ghetto Nightmare. Great job, Ghetto Nightmare. He beat Themeless. It's a nice little morale boost. Always have those war wins. Um, I mean, if this war isn't over yet, it's definitely going to be over soon. Yeah, I mean, the charts just won't be looking a little bit wonky right now, but Ghetto Nightmare definitely won this war. Great job, guys. Let's take a look at the live chat to see if anyone's in there. Wind, nerd, everyone's laughing. Ghetto Nightmare #1. Stream's blurry. Message retracted. Merry Christmas, Win. Thanks for doing the cast. Looks like we need to revert the mass damage change this age. Uh-oh, that means changes. Well, hopefully the stream gets a little bit better for you guys. It is sometimes a little bit wonky, when I'm first doing it live, because I think the bit rate goes down from time to time. It has to do with my wireless connection. Hopefully, be changing that in the future. I am getting a new microphone, hopefully for Christmas, so I'll be able to use that going forward instead of this headset, and maybe the audio quality and levels will be a lot better working with that. But obviously, the next thing is to get that hard line connected again because I really feel like I'm struggling with wireless internet. Like it's definitely noticeable. Don't get me wrong, it's fast, but it's not fast enough. All right, let's check out the Kingdom Honor side one last time before we move on to the next war. Yes, Ghetto Nightmare was in control of this war. Great job, Ghetto Nightmare. Oh, thank heaven for War 6-3 versus Bad Xmas Prezzies. This war looks like they're just past min time. Wow, almost double the damage done to the one side. Tons of acres taken. and almost triple the honor taken from, or quadruple the honor taken by Bad Xmas Prezi versus what Oh Heavens lost. This should be an interesting one to look at. Land-wise, though, I mean, the Red Kingdom did a pretty good job holding their own. And again, despite the strong play from the Blue Kingdom, they were able to walk away with still a good amount of acres when they started. Better off than most of the other kingdoms that we were looking at. Definitely no farm war here. Um, Red Kingdom grew a little bit later up to meet the Blue Kingdom. And it looks like even on that first wave, they weren't actually able to achieve convergence. So, um, this is kind of a tough spot for them. I mean, it looks like they came really close here. So that's probably what they were banking on, but it doesn't seem like they were able to lock it down. So that's probably why they ended up withdrawing from this war, actually. Um, so yeah, it looks this war. When did this war end? Let's look back at the land side of things. Yeah, so this war just ended recently. Bad Xmas Prezi walked away with a good amount of land. I mean, not a ton. It's definitely no farm out war, but Bad Xmas Prezis was definitely in control of this. I think there's a little bit of a hiccup here. I think this is when the game froze at some point during the day today. Interesting lines. All right, let's look at the KD honor side of things. Definitely, Bad Xmas Prezis was in control of this one from the get-go. Very nice take for them, though. I'm sure they're happy with this Christmas present. I mean, they went from like basically, let's say 56,500 honor to walking away from the war with 68,000. So it was a nice 12,000 honor points they walked away from, with the war. So that was a very nice turnout for them. Um, and it, aside from this side of it, it looks like Red Kingdom gave them a great fight. Although on our side of things, basically kind of telling me maybe they didn't have as much, uh, you know, TPA and WPA power. You got some halflings, some elves versus elves and dark elves. And so it's just looking at these numbers, there's definitely more TMs on the Blue Kingdom side versus the Red Kingdom side. So that kind of explains the honor. Either way, great job to both sides. Let's move on to the next war. Dumb Ways to Die Hostile versus the Diablo Kingdom. Diablo Kingdom being one province down. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, Diablo problem, whoever they are, they're doing really well. It seems like they've had some pretty strong wars, some pretty strong finishes. So be curious to see who they actually are. Again, they were definitely in control of this war. They converged right away. Red Kingdom was never able to achieve convergence, even being up one province. Let's take a look at the honor side of things to see what the TM battle kind of looked like. Looked like it wasn't too strong on either side. Diablo definitely in control, bigger in the first place, walked away with a nice win. But as you can see, they didn't walk away with as big of a win as Xmas Prezis in terms of the honor side, which again, probably correlates to the amount of TMs that they have on the one side. I mean, definitely more TM power, I think, on Xmas Prezi's side. Um, less, but still a good amount on Diablo, and even less on um, the Red Kingdom side. So great job in the top. The streaming thing is disconnected, now reconnected. Good job, OBS. Good job. And great job, Cryptids. It looks like you're on your way to a nice win here. So good job. No free ice cream and versus too cold for ice cream. Looks like, there's always one side doing a little bit more damage than the other. One's lost more net worth and land. Honor points still remain about the same, so it's very possible that no free ice cream can come back and swing this war back. We're only 35 hours in. Land side of things, too cold for ice cream. It's definitely the bigger kingdom here going in. Still is now after 35 hours. Nice convergence. Um, as red grows beyond the blue kingdom, but looks like they're doing more damage. It's even sides, so it'll be interesting to see if blue can pull back from this. Let's take a look at the honor side of things, because from the looks of it, it definitely looks like too cold for ice cream is winning. Um, but on the honor side of things, it shows that, this is actually a very close battle. And actually, what we're seeing here is we're just on someone's wave, so that's why so much damage has happened so recently. This kind of tells me that the Blue Kingdom just did a bunch of ops and did their wave. And as you can see, the correlation here, Red Kingdom's going down, Blue Kingdom's going up. We'll just take a quick look at the land side of things to see if that makes sense. And yes, it is. Blue Kingdom's going up, Red Kingdom's going down. And just a confirmation on the network side, a little bit harder to see, but Blue Kingdom is going up and Red Kingdom is going down significantly more than Blue Kingdom is going up. So this is a very close war. I think this is one war that maybe the charts are maybe a little bit deceiving, and they are kind of, because I mean these kingdoms are pretty close together. Again, you got to keep in mind the legend on the left-hand side here. It switches between, intervals of 5 and 10, so you got to keep an eye on those numbers. Whatever, 2.53, sometimes it's 3 or 4, but again, keep an eye on that numbers because these kingdoms war is actually a lot closer than it looks. So best of luck to both sides. See how it goes. Toontown versus Cheery Merry Xmas. Again, looks like a nice close war. Land side of things, and they are even as well. Land side of things, it looks like they're more or less tied even. Network side of things, however, sorry, my throat's a little bit dry. Um, Let me just fix that quickly before we keep going. There we go. That should do good for the rest of the show. So yeah, I mean, the Red Kingdom, they came in the smaller kingdom, grew up to meet the enemy. Again, keep in mind of the intervals here. Like, we're only a 250K difference between these bars here. So these are a lot closer together than some of those other wars actually, seem like. Um, so yeah, I mean, definitely looks like Cheery Xmas is doing well here. Let's look at the honor side of things to see what's going on. Um, they definitely took a hit here. I mean, Toontown could very well pull this off still. I'm not sure what Toontown's up to, but they're definitely taking hits. Let's take a look at the land side of things here. Looks like there's some deep chaining going on both sides. Who's in the worst position? It's really hard to say. We got to look at the net worth for that to be sure. Um, but it looks like Cheery Merry Xmas is actually, provinces are actually in a worse position despite being, in the upper hand here. It looks like Uhura is actually a new province. Um, because it looks like, yeah, they just started. So damage wise, I think, you know, that's why it's actually, you know, Cheery Merry Xmas is actually doing better. Although they probably, these guys probably released more army than they should have. This guy especially. This guy looks like he's a new province. And again, I think that's kind of why Cheery Merry Xmas is winning. Like these two are definitely like new provinces. This guy was chained, probably just released too much army. So yeah, I mean, Cheery Merry Xmas is actually doing very well here, considering they have two provinces basically in protection. This is kind of, this is more like beaches play here. These are probably just randoms that just random into the kingdom, and they're not even supposed to be here. But Beach is just gonna push through the war anyway. Um, we're just gonna play this game wacko. I'm just gonna call out a bunch of kingdoms, and I'm gonna say, hey, that's beaches, and I'm sure again you're gonna come back to me and tell me that I'm crazy and wrong, and these are all the reasons I'm wrong, and that's gonna be awesome because that's just gonna help me find you next time. All right, just look for that dog on the beach. The forest versus leadership is the worst. Hey, I think I've seen these guys before. Um, their leadership doesn't seem to be that bad. I mean, they seem to be doing pretty good honor wise and net worth wise. And I mean, it looks like they're all part of the kingdom except for this snub guy. Definitely the odd one out. We've seen the trees in battle before. Is this Cell's Renegade Kingdom the forest, or is the trees just a spin-off kingdom while Cell is no longer there? Who knows? Are they imposters? Who knows? Maybe Cell. Maybe it's Cell. We really don't know. But based on the performance, we can't say one way or the other because you never know who the enemy actually is. On the land side of things, it looks like Forest has lost a little bit of land going into this war. The Blue Kingdom definitely stacking on the land, but it looks like Red Kingdom had a nice growth spurt there. They managed some convergences, but ultimately it looks like the Blue Kingdom's just having stronger performance here overall. And you can kind of see that, on the land side of things and net worth side of things here. If you look at these chains, there's definitely a lot more lost on one side than the other. I mean, it's blatantly obvious, like the damage that's being done to some of these provinces. So these guys are just getting wrecked. The forest is getting wrecked. Their provinces are getting wrecked anyway. By leadership is the worst. So it looks like leadership is the worst. Just possibly got this one in the bag. They're only at about 30 hours right now, and the forest is still, giving a pretty strong showing. However, Blue Kingdom has managed to converge here several times, and they flipped the honor scale. So, to me, this is signs of a min-time withdrawal from the forest. Leadership, it just stands to take way more resources the longer they stay in this war. So just a warning to you guys in the forest. Empyreans of the Stick, Order of the Stick. What up, guys? Christmas tomatoes, two kingdoms everybody knows well. Christmas tomatoes down one province. Let's take a quick look at the net worth and see what everybody's up to. Christmas tomatoes looks like they're taking a little bit more of a beating. Land-wise, it looks like they also chained a little bit more deeply. Not too much damage here on the Empyrean Order of the Stick side. Let's take a look at the land. Land is nice and close together. Net worth, I mean, this is a clear sign that Christmas tomatoes may be in control of this war, although they are one province short. But being in this net worth position is good for them, very good for them. Whether they're able to maintain as a question, the honor chart will tell us that. Looks like Christmas Tomatoes stands to win this war. I would say, the Christmas Tomatoes is quite possibly going to come out the victor of this one, but you never know. Imperium might pull something out of their hat, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the main thing to look at in these wars is, how much honor and how much land can the winner and the loser walk away with, and how well they did based on that. Because at the end of the day, that's what wars are about. Not just that, but I mean, you want that science book payout in the end of war ceasefire. But keep that in mind, guys, when you are going to war. So great job, everyone, in this war. Let's move on to the next one. Korsov City, 24 hours in, so they're halfway to min time. Let's see what these guys are up to. Nice. Love to see full kingdoms. Geej, it looks like this is the military operations kingdom. Looks like they're having a nice battle. This is two good kingdoms here that are, wow, look at the movement here. Again, keep in mind the chart. Look at it. It's only going by increments of 2,000. 250K at a time. So definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at the flow of the charts. But it looks like they're doing extremely well. Some nice convergences here. Looks like we're in the middle kind of someone's wave a little bit. War just finished. This one's a little bit tough to say. Let's look at the honor side of things. That'll give it away right away. Yeah, so it um, looks like one kingdom just had their wave or their attacks. Korsov City just did a nice number to them. And as you can see, they're growing just a little tad every time, and they grew a little bit, a little bit more on this time, which kind of leads me to believe that Korsov City is probably going to walk away from the victor on this one. But we're only 24 hours in; anything can happen. But again, that's kind of how I feel about this war. Let's move on to the next one. Villains at war versus 80s matinee. All right, Villains, you're down two players. What can you do? What can you do? It looks like you're doing well though. Um, nice. I mean, here you go. Down two provinces, doing extremely well. Not sure what the enemy's doing here. They only got 10 acres, 10 acres, 10 acres. Changed out of this war. That's just like their growth over the ticks. It looks like this kingdom hasn't even had proper wave yet, or I don't know what the heck they're up to. Um, hmm. Again, we're only 8 hours into this war. Let's take a quick look at the honor chart. I mean, Villains looks like they're going to walk away with this one. I can tell just by looking at that. Already converged and is pulling away. Again, kind of lead me to believe Villains going to win this. Villains smaller on land, while the enemy kind of soaks it up, make it easier for Villains TMs to take advantage of them. Villains, I think you got this one, guys. All right, 3 hours in. This is the Kingdom versus Secret Project War. Someone's using lead speak. Must be some big time nerds in that kingdom. Oh wow, look, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 provinces in this kingdom, versus way more. Not really, actually. They have two or three provinces in protection right now. So looks like this war is actually a lot closer than it seems. Let's take a look at the land side of things. There isn't really much to look at here. I mean, we kind of know probably what's going to happen. Secret Project definitely is looking to win this war. I'm not sure what blue is up to, but it doesn't look like they're really doing anything. Like when your honor is flatlining like this, it means you're not really doing officer spells. Um, your attacks are basically pointless, not really doing anything. And based on the change here, it almost looks like these guys have not attacked yet. Um, that could be part of it as well. Again, we're only 3 hours into this war. Best of luck to everyone on that side. Let's see what War Cry Noi Forever. So, oh, interesting. The Arch. Some of these names are looking a little bit, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I believe this is the Warcry Kingdom, though. Looks like they are reforming. That'd be cool to see. Let's take a quick look at the land, even though this war is only a couple hours in. Not a whole lot going on, but again, you notice the chart's going up by 2,000 this time. It's definitely changing a lot more than it used to. I feel like it didn't go through that many different intervals. It usually stuck to like 5 or 10K. The fact that it's going down to smaller numbers is interesting, but I do like it. Kingdom News, Kingdom Net Worth side of things. Looks like bouncing along and maybe in control of this war. I mean, they should be with more provinces. Not too much going on the honor side, and not a whole lot going on the land side. This war is still developing. So that's all the wars for today. Again, thanks everyone for joining, and be sure to check out the Intel bot site and GIMS's new layout that you can apply to the Utopia browser window. Blah, I really need to go to bed or something. I just cannot speak today. But yeah, be sure to check out Gibbs' new thing. I posted the link in the description of the video below, so be sure to check it out. Again, remember the forums do exist. They are around. That's a cool reminder of what's happened in the past and some things that everyone can learn from. So definitely keep an eye on the forums. Utopia Guide, thanks Tom for posting that. Again, check it out. Lots of cool stuff there if you're a new player. MUGA store, definitely support the game. Come on, guys, check it out. Some sweet stuff. Support the game, and definitely post your suggestions and ideas for what we can add to the store that people might be interested in buying. Again, thank you, Kage, for your Utopia Tools website. It's a great resource. And everyone, be sure to check out, any surveys that are posted. Your input may have more feedback or maybe more looked at than anyone might like to believe or might like to think. So thank you again for everyone who joined today. We're just going to take a quick look at the chat here to see what's going on. Red Kingdom kicked our Merry Marauder ass. Thank you for that. Little bit of feedback. Thank you so much. Let's take a look here to see if there's anything else that I'm missing here. Stream is a little bit blurry. Thanks, Haffer. Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing during the live. This has been a long time coming as I've just not been able to get to the Warcast recently. So thanks everyone for joining and everyone who's going to watch later on. This is your host, Wind, looking at the World of Legends, March 9th, Year 4, signing off. Thank you so much, everyone, and hope to see you all on the next podcast. Be sure to check the video description and the links below to get to all the great places that we talked about in the video. Of course, it seems like this part of the video is probably being cut out because the game is just YouTube and the thing is just cruel like this. It likes to destroy all of my outro chats. Right now, it's not even functioning at all. That is, it's not sending the streaming data to YouTube, probably because YouTube hates me and the OBS thing is just being a real pain in the butt right now. So thank you everyone for watching. Again, be sure to check out the links and descriptions at the bottom of the video that will take you to GIMS' special little thing that you can add, GIMS' custom theme that you can add that makes your screen nice and blue. And of course, be sure to check out everything else that's Utopia related. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you in the next stream. Have a great night, everyone.